So guys, Arena has been vaulted completely and now there's a brand new Fortnite ranked mode. This is going to be consisting of zero build ranked mode and battle royale ranked mode. There have been some major changes to this game mode and this is going to be the benchmark for all competitive play going forward in competitive Fortnite. In today's video, I want to be going over the only video that you guys need to climb in this brand new rank. This video is going to cover everything and all tips I have for you guys after the first week of the ranked mode being out, and I really hope you guys do enjoy. Now be sure to use code SonataYT in the Fortnite item shop if you guys do want to support me. Let's hop right into this video. So to begin, I definitely want to go over the format and actually everything you need to know about it in order to actually win. Now let's start off with going over the idea of eliminations. Now as you guys know, I went over the different formats and the different blog posts from competitive Fortnite themselves, and basically what they said is that kills later in the game matter way more than kills that you get off spawn and earlier in the game. Now when I first started playing the ranked mode, I personally believe that, okay, yeah, maybe it's 5-10% more matterful in the end of the game. However, I did not realize exactly how much effect late game kills have on your overall success and your progress towards the next rank. Eliminations later in the game have a vast majority of benefits. This is essentially the benchmark of what eliminations in the end game actually equivocate to. I've seen a bunch of people that are going to be losing off spawn, but they're going to be getting 2 or 3 kills off spawn, which is pretty good considering that you're getting an off spawn elimination. However, people who are playing towards the end game and getting 1, 2, or even 3 eliminations in the later parts of the game can improve their rank progress up to 75%. This means that eliminations in the end game are way more valuable than eliminations in the earlier game and can honestly make the difference between you guys ranking up and you guys being hard stuck. This is a really good fact because this is going to alter the way that everybody plays, and this is what I would recommend to all of you. I would recommend you land somewhere low-key on the map, focus on getting a really high placement within your game, and then eliminations really late in the game rather than trying to get eliminations during the early game or even the mid game. Also, the place that you have is taken into account, so if you're getting top 5 every single game, that's fantastic for your rank progress, and even if you're not getting as many eliminations, the placement will still really help out your ranked progress. Now let's move on to the topic of dealing with the removal of Siphon. Now, the removal of Siphon health is a massive change that affects how players engage in fights and how much time is spent healing by a large margin. Essentially what this means is that fights, especially during the early mid game, these fights will need to be much more carefully taken, because if there are any chances of any third parties within your fights, the probability of you winning the fight goes down dramatically, as you will not be able to heal any damage you took in the previous fight unless you have the time to do so. And considering that the zones are getting faster, players are rotating quicker, players are learning how to loot and get better at the game in general, the time that you need in order to heal up after a fight, you're not really going to have it very often. In general, this calls for more players to be intelligent in the way that they fight. This is the primary reason that mid-game fights are becoming more scarce, especially in the higher level ranks. I'd say pretty much after Diamond, most of the time you guys are not really going to be seeing very many serious mid-game fights. Obviously, there is the chance that you guys see those mega build fights with people hiding in every single corner. However, in general, it's unlikely that you'll be seeing them past a certain level. So in general, the way to deal with Siphon is to really understand exactly what is a smart fight to take and what is not a smart fight to take by deciding if you're going to get third-partied or if you're not. Now let's move on to the matchmaking section of this video. In general, guys, if you're playing solos, you're going to be matched against opponents of the same or similar rank as you. However, like I've said in the previous video, if you're playing in the duos or the squads game mode, the person in your party with the highest rank is going to be the rank that you guys are going to be matchmaked with. Essentially what this means is that, let's say that I'm in Platinum 3 and I'm playing with somebody that's in Diamond. I'm going to be playing in a Diamond level lobby when I'm competing with this person. It's a very intelligent way, I think, to make sure that people aren't getting boosted, because honestly in these team game modes people will be having a lot weaker chances of actually winning, considering that they do have a lower level person on their team if they are a higher rank. I think this is really smart in order to eliminate the idea of boosting, and also it's really good smurf control considering that it's not that big of a deal unless obviously you guys are playing solos. Now, of course, guys, one of the biggest factors and one of the biggest things you guys need to know to climb in all of these ranks is how to play based on your skill level. Now, I tried to dumb it down into 3 different skill levels. There's going to be a really high level player, a low level player that has just roughly started, and then a medium level player that's been playing for a while, but they're still not a pro or even a semi-pro yet. Now, if you guys are a higher level fighter and player in general, I think it's really good for you guys to W key. Once again, I'd recommend you do this after pretty much the mid game ends and really get used to the new Siphon changes, as those will really affect competitive, and if you guys are a really high level player, you need to adapt to them in order to keep performing at the highest level. Try to W key more later in the game, your rank will benefit greatly if you guys are able to place highly with a lot of eliminations. At that point, you're pretty much going to be breaking the barrier of elite, champion, and obviously unreal at the highest level, but that's how you should generally play if you're a really high level player. If you're a lower level player, I would recommend you try to play a little bit more passive, try to place in the top 5 every single game. The way that you do this doesn't really affect me. I'd recommend you guys try to land a really low-key drop spot, try to rotate around, max out on materials, health, loot, try to get the best situation you can possibly have for the end game. I think that will greatly help you in your chances of actually placing and maybe even getting a win that will greatly boost your rank. However, if you're in the middle, it's a little bit more complicated. I'd recommend you launch into this game and then try to read your lobby. See how many players are left and decide whether or not you want to risk taking fights, and remember that third parties are definitely a risk. If there are a lot of players left in your lobby, the players may be a lot more smart and more likely to win fights against you, considering that they're playing passive and they actually understand the ranked system. Especially as you get into the higher ranks, this is very true. If there are less players in your lobby, the players are most likely weaker, and there are most likely going to be 1, 2, or even 3 really good players that are cleaning up the lobby with a lot of eliminations. So you can definitely take fights in these weaker lobbies, however, I would really recommend to watch out for those insanely good players that are racking up all the eliminations. That's just the general playstyle for a high, low, and middle level player, but obviously none of this matters unless you know exactly which game mode you're going to be playing. Closing it off, guys, I want to go over the best game mode for you guys to climb and obviously rank up in your competitive play. Ideally, squads is the best game mode where you have the least risk of being eliminated early, then obviously duos and then solos, which is the most riskiest. However, it is important to understand that teams are treated as a single unit, which means that all team members will gain and lose progress equally based on team eliminations and team placement calculated at the end of a match. Remember that a rank for the team is always determined by whose rank is the highest on your team. That's the lobby that you're going to be matchmaking into. So ideally squads or duos is the best, but obviously if you're playing with a person that's way higher ranked than you, it's going to be very tough to actually climb in those game modes if you only have one player of that skill caliber. Solos is still a viable option. Personally, that's what I like to play simply because I find it very therapeutic and very fun to just run around and try to do your best as a solo player. I also think that it's really going to benefit you as an overall competitive player working on your solo skill. So that's what I would recommend to you guys if you really want to focus on actually getting better at the game. But in terms of climbing, squads and duos is definitely king. Guys, if you listen to all the tips I told you in this video, you're definitely going to climb. Once again, this is the only video I believe that you guys really need in order to climb. Obviously, I'll be going more in depth on each individual rank and what each one is like. But I definitely recommend you guys listen to all these tips in the video regardless of what rank you're in, and this is really going to help you climb overall. That's about it for this video, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye, guys.